Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tech Talk. I am Cody. He is Andy. Together we make up the Tech Talk crew. It is Friday. We actually have a Friday morning episode, May 10th, 2024. And we actually have 2 requests today out of 3 charts.
2 requests?
2 requests.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's been a hot week.
It's been hot in cash, I'll tell you that. And it's been it's hot for you too. I mean, I think you
got a
get
little
something
sun.
there. Maybe a little sunscreen there. Did we talk about this last summer, by the way?
Yeah, we did. I forgot my sunscreen when I went out, and it was just turned into a whole ordeal. But now it's tanned. We're ready to go. Don't have to worry about it.
You're ready for the summer. It's
I'm
just
ready for the summer.
You're ready for the summer. It's
just burn.
really
You
cool.
get it over with once, and then you're pretty much good.
It's Mother's Day coming up. Is this like a Mother's Day episode? Is there a Mother's Day request? What are you doing for Mother's Day?
Well, like we talked about before, I think most mothers just want their kids to leave them alone for the day, not bug them. So I think that's probably
you're gonna oblige.
I'm going to oblige on that request. I'm going to kindly oblige on that request.
All right, fair enough. Good job. Well, I don't know. Tag me in, Coach. Do we need to look at some charts?
We do. First one requested by Erica.
Erica the Nice? Is that what I heard?
Erica the Nice.
This is like the hot ticket item here. You were talking about hot. I mean, it's like hotter than that sunburn on your face, man. The thing is it's hot.
This market is...
CME Cheese, it's hot. I mean, where did we really start off with? This is $1.42, week ending March 28th. Ipso facto, $1.95, week ending Mother's Day.
Correct.
Happy Mother's Day. You get 50 cents a pound added on to the cheese price.
Yeah. Which prices we haven't seen since 2023. You got to go back to, what are we at? March of last year, April of 23.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is that we got through all this. You already said it. It's Friday morning. We still haven't had cash yet, right? This is pre-cash, so this could change. But this close is over all this noise. I drew this line here beforehand. This line is 193 and some change, right? So if we close here, it would be, to your point, a close we haven't seen since 2023.
Correct.
I mean, this thing's just off the races. It's got your favorite. I mean, look at this thing, man. This thing's huge.
And that's one of the scariest parts that we've been, I think, talking through with clients is the last 2 times we've been at $1.90, $1.95. We've gone from $1.95 to $1.40.
Right.
Like real quick.
For sure. And I know there's a lot of things fundamentally that are happening right now that maybe we've talked about avian flu, and it seems like we saw some export reports that were awesome, right, in terms of exports. So it's good reason for it to be here, right? It's just a question of, can we sustain this price action? I drew this here because a close over here. So basically, if we're unched today, unched or higher, new high close going back to 2023, I think that's something to be really mindful of. I think you got to be careful of, the next stop being in this 202, 203, and then I drew this one up here, a 215 type number.
That's what I have.
I would say, again, get a close here, next stop, 203, get a close over through that. You could get just a face ripper up to this 215 type number.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the futures started to kind of faded a little bit, at least in a July, right? I mean, June, we start pricing here, not next week, but the week after. Check out Basis Loaded to learn more about that, by the way. But futures are fading that, right? Up, and you start to go past June.
And I think, I had a lot of questions yesterday about that. Cheese was higher. Futures are actually lower. I said, that's true. But, you get up above $20 in June, July, August. And I think you're just going to have natural sell side come in from numbers that we haven't seen in a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah. Costered Aries is going to start slinging futures from the sell side. I mean, this $2 cheese, let's go.
You and I talked about it last time we were on here. The amount of trades that we've seen in the upfront months is still huge. Yesterday, we were over, I think, 1,300 in June, class 3.
Huge. It's every day, it's over 1,000.
And I think just seeing that number of $20 is just bringing in natural sell side to this market, no matter what cheese had done.
I feel like people are, looking around to say, where are we going to run out of gas?
Correct.
Right. And it's so tough to say, right? I mean, you could have made the argument right here, right? And then bam, right in your face. And then bam, here's another one. But I guess I would be looking for kind of candles that kind of start to look like this, where you struggle to continue any sort of material upside. And then you actually start to get some lower closes. Or I guess another one is if you get, let's just try to find one here, some sort of candle that kind of looks like this one, but inverted. Right. So where it has an attempt to make a high, let's say we go touch 202, 203, and then settle at 195.
Correct.
So, and that candle ends up being I think the term is shooting star, right? Just an inverted hammer. right? And so an attempt to move higher and runs into too much sell side and comes back down. I think that's the type of candle you need to see before we talk about getting overly short, because again, right here, right now, I mean, it's strong like bull, man.
It is. And until the market tells us to slow down and that we're not going to go higher for the time being, it feels like we're going to try to test $2.
Yeah. Red hot.
It is red hot. And that's what everybody wants to talk about this week. And I'm glad we started out with this specific chart.
Mm-hmm. Erica the Nice coming through with a red hot chart. The thing is just red hot.
Shout out.
You should probably go get yourself some red hots, man.
I feel like it.
And some sunscreen. Grab a little SPF 50 for you. All right. I think the next one you said came at request?
It did. Our good friend, colleague, Jimbo.
Jimbo
wants to look at soybean meal.
Let's go, Jimbo. All right. Bean meal. Hate to say it, I really don't know what to make of this. This is a real tough one. When I see these types of like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you start to get like these smaller bodies like that, it's usually like preceding a large move in the opposite direction, I should say.
Right. Yep.
In this case, would be higher, right? And so I guess I feel like we're due for a candle that kind of looks like this one.
Yeah.
On May 2nd. And what I think will end up happening is it will engulf all 4 of these days, at least like the bodies of them, and then close over like this high. And if that happens, it's like, boomtown, we're off to the races again.
Right.
I don't think it's a coincidence that you ran into some selling, right when you start to talk about retracing nearly 2/3 of this move, right? This 390 number.
Yeah, our high was 390 before we started coming up.
Right there, 390, right on the dot.
Exactly.
I don't think that's coincidence, but again, to me, it's like, I think about it in terms of like the response from the opposite side. You have this big move from here to here, 346.5 up to 390. And, in the same amount of time, there's been a big retracement, but I'd say a relatively small one. So I guess that would be my thought. I think you're due for another candle that looks like this here coming up. I think you're going to see these like small bodies and then all of a sudden like, boom.
I agree. It almost seems like they're going to go back and test 390 if that happens and you get another candle higher. Like, let's say today, I mean, we're just started the trading day essentially, but you go today into Monday and we start kind of piddling our way higher. Do we break through 390? That is going to be the next testing point. Because if we don't, then it's turned into a blatant M formation.
What's your expression, by the way? Pitter patter?
Pitter patter. This market better get at her.
There you go. You could get in like the American Dictionary, by the way.
Yeah.
Pitter patter. See Cody. Like,
time to get at her.
Pitter patter, see time to get at her. Like,
next to it, bullish move.
Bullish move. Yeah. It's next to it, hammer. All right. Well, I mean, I guess I don't really know what else to say about this other than we can take a look at it on a weekly. This has got like a nice rounding. I guess for me, I would look at this more and say we're seeing kind of like a step back before continuing to move. And I think the monthly says that really well too, actually. I mean, if you think about, look at that. Bam. There.
Making some higher lows.
And you sure are. So this would suggest we're going back to at least like $400. Somewhere in there, right? Into this kind of like all this noise.
If I'm not mistaken, in soybean meal, I think that's kind of like just a psychological number, right? Even number, $400.
Sure.
I hear a lot of people talking about it.
Oh, and then the longer term momentum of it too, I think is pretty interesting. You had this abrupt break. It's pretty close to breaking through that.
Yeah.
Right. And so if it breaks through, it will also, cross into positive territory and do it on a pretty healthy breakout while you're making a higher low. So the longer term chart here looks friendly. So I think you got to be a little bit careful here. At the very least, you know where you're wrong if you're buying it, right? I mean, if you start to cross back into this territory, you're wrong. But I think the risk is that we get back up in all this noise. So look out. There you go, Jim. That's for you. Last one, certainly not least. Nothing got touched on this chart, by the way. So Cody's test, 123, still there, all caps, spot non-fat.
And if I'm not mistaken, and again, still Friday, we got to go through spot. Have we broken through that downward channel?
Sure looks like it.
Looks
like it. Okay. This is starting to look like it wants to get a little perky here. So, I mean, to your point, broke through this downward trend, broke through that, assuming we close here today, here or higher, right? I would expect that we'd probably get somewhere back into here. I mean, and when you look at, like, I just pulled up non-fat futures for a hot second there. This is where futures are anyways. This 120-ish, 119, high teens, low 20s type area. The futures market's telling us this is where this market's going. So in this case, I feel like futures are going to be our guide here. It's interesting too. We just looked at it for meal. Similar though, we're coming up on what could potentially be a nice healthy move from a momentum standpoint. We break through this, you'll have been trending lower on momentum, which is a bearish indication, right? For a while. So to break through this, you'll go into positive territory. I think that's, that gives you a nice swing back into the 120s. I think you got to be a little bit careful being short, at least on the, this is a spot basis, right? Again, futures telling us this is where we're going. Yeah, I think the futures are trying to tell us something here. I think spot's got another little up move, and then we'll see. Do you think it's going to go do the Cody test?
I do. I mean, if we get to 120, what's another 3 cents, especially in spot?
What's another 3 cents?
Right. And then at that point, it's like, okay, do we just sit in this channel that we've been in for months on end, it feels like, or do we break out to the high side and maybe test 140?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this thing's bouncing around so much. It's tired.
Real tired.
All right. That's all I got.
Cool.
You've got a big Mother's Day coming up of avoidance.
I was going to say, I forgot to ask you, what are you doing for Mother's Day? What do you got?
I'm trying to, that's like I told you before. I think you're onto something about moms just want to have a little bit of time to themselves. So, one of my son's favorite word is mom, 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 mom. So we're going to switch that to dad for a day at least and see how that goes.
It's supposed to be a nice day on Sunday. So
it is supposed to be a nice day. So I don't know, go for like a walk or something like that. But yeah, the world's our oyster. So
the world is your oyster. I like that.
Right.
All right, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in. Andy and I will be back next week. Would like to wish a very happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there watching in the company of Ever.Ag, in our families personally. Without you, we obviously would not even be here. So pretty important to our lives. With that, you have a great Mother's Day. Kick your feet up. Tell your kids you don't want to talk to them for a day. We'll see you next week. Bye.